Hi, this is Tia with Willow&Wheat, and I wanted to show you your fabulous cozy pattern brush selection. I really love this collection. As you can see, there's lots of textiles, there's some Native American influence, there's lots of boho, lots of nature, some little bit of whimsy, some fruit, lots of organics and botanicals, and it's all hand-drawn by me. If you're familiar with layers, this is really going to be helpful. I'm going to begin by showing you why, and that's by tapping the two overlapping squares in the top right corner of your screen to see all the layers that went into making this little illustration, which I'm about to try to make so much more vibrant and interesting with my patterns. So I love to use clipping masks, and I'm going to show you why layers are so important with clipping masks. But to begin, I want to go to my first layer, which is the bottom here. That's the wall and the wall and the floor, sorry. And I'm gonna use my arrow. I'm gonna use my plus button at the top right of the screen, and I want to go a layer above it, and I'm going to long press on this color, this rug color, this rusty reddish brownish, to get the color to match for my wall. And let's go ahead and choose, since it is a wall, let's choose a nice wallpaper maybe. You know what, let's do Vintage Wallpaper 6, and I'm just gonna go ahead and brush all over the wall there. And I really like that, but I do see that it's a little dark for my taste, so let me go ahead and hit that layer. I'm gonna bring down the opacity a little bit. And while I'm here, let me show you about these blend modes. I love using these blend modes in Procreate, especially with patterns, because even though I have a pretty good idea of how I want the pattern to look, every once in a while, when I just play around with these blend modes, I will be so pleasantly surprised with something that I didn't expect, and I will love it even more than what I originally had in mind. So I encourage you to play around with these blend modes. So for this one, I like luminosity. It kind of is what I was going for, except it has a little bit of a darker and less saturated look. And I really like multiply. And of course there's the normal one. So I think I'm gonna go with multiply, but I'm gonna bring down my saturation a little bit and my, not saturation, my opacity a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, and here we have my wainscoting at the bottom of the wall. Now I put my fringe on a separate layer from my rug. This is my rug, because I didn't want the fringe to be affected by the pattern that I'm going to do when I use a clipping mask. So let's explain about clipping masks. To use a clipping mask, they're super easy and super fun, especially with patterns. I'm gonna select the layer that I wanna target, which as you can see is my rug. And I'm just gonna hit the arrow at the top right corner. Now I have a layer over, oopsies, now I have a layer over my rug. And to make it a clipping mask, I select just as simple as that, clipping mask. And now you can see by the arrow pointing down, anything that I color on this layer that's selected blue will only affect the rusty red rug. And since it is a rusty red rug, I'm gonna grab this color by long pressing on it. And that's gonna be the color for my pattern. Kind of wanna match it with the rest of the room. I think I'm gonna use Wheat and Willow, since my company is Willow and Wheat. And These patterns have an adjustable size, so I can go really large or a little bit smaller. I think I'm gonna go, maybe I'll go like 7% with Wheat and Willow. Oh yeah, I really like that. I like that a lot, but that is really, really, really bright. So I'm going to actually lower the opacity considerably. And 47% looks pretty good. 49, 48%. That's pretty good. And I also want to play again with the blend mode and see if there's something I like even better. Normal looks pretty good. Screen. Ooh, lighter color. Oh, I kind of like that. See, that's bringing out a little bit more of a neutral, less bright shade. This is kind of picking up shades of the couch. That's the hard light. You know what? No, that's not my favorite one. As I looked at it in a full picture, the full picture of it, it wasn't my favorite. I like luminosity. I think I'm gonna go with luminosity, but I'm gonna lower the opacity, which, okay, I think I like that. Now, because it is a rug that has such extreme perspective differences between the bottom of the screen and where the rug ends, I want to kind of match the pattern that way. So I'm selecting the top arrow on the left, and that gives me the option whether to choose a freeform, uniform, distort, or warp. I'm going to choose distort, and I'm going to bring the pattern way out to the left and way out to the right at the bottom, and then at the top, kind of in, tapering in, just to kind of match the perspective. So that's better. And now I also want to choose warp, which is a little bit trickier for me because you have to kind of work slowly. Now I'm not necessarily addressing perspective, but I'm addressing the shape of the rug. So I'm kind of pulling down on the ends, on the left end and the right end, and kind of pulling up toward the middle to kind of match the shape a little bit. Of course, you don't have to do this. It's just a preference. Some artists like to do that. But that, actually, I'm very happy with that. So now let's do our blanket, which is right here. I might use this pillow. I'm going to long click to match the pillow, so I have that color now. I've selected it. And I'm going to find my blanket layer. Here it is. There's my blanket. Again, I'm going to use the plus sign at the top right-hand corner. Now I'm over my blanket. I click on that layer that's over the one that I want to color, and I choose clipping mask. I have my color selected. This time, well, you know what? This is a blanket, so let's do something kind of textile. So many lovely choices. Let's choose Quilty. How about Quilty 3? And I'm going to kind of take a guess at the pattern size here. Yeah, I like that pattern size. Now, especially with this blanket, this is a really great time to play with blend mode because as you can see, in the normal mode, this pattern is just overpowering the shading of the blanket and you don't even really get to see it. So let me show you how wonderful multiply can be. Multiply will take your pattern or whatever you have on the layer, but then also include the shading. And Multiply is a really awesome blend mode that I use super frequently. But as you can see, it really intensifies the color, so you may want to lower the opacity a little bit. So now the blankie looks really cute, but to be honest with you, I am not happy with the way that the pattern's coming straight across instead of being warped along with the folds and the way the blanket's being draped. So I want to pull up with the warping tool in the middle. I usually pull up slowly in the middle when something's curved like this, and down on the sides a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want to take into account that it's folded over the arm. Okay, I'm super happy with that. Okay, let's move on to the pillows. I'm gonna keep this same dark green color. Find my layer. There's my pillows. My plus sign, make a layer over the pillows. Make that layer a clipping mask, and maybe this time I'll do something teeny tiny like, well, whatever. How about Flower Garden 4, but I'm gonna make the pattern really small because I want it to almost look like dots, but see, that's too small. I'm a little bit bigger than that. How about this size? Oh yeah, I like that size. This is a sweet little pattern that can look like dots if you put it as small as I did, but it can also be very easily identified as lovely flowers if you enlarge it. So it's very versatile. Okay, so for this one, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't like so much green. Let me go back and change my color to, how about going back with this rusty reddish brown. Let's try this again. Oops. My pattern brush is a little bit bigger now. I like it. Just have to pull some of it off of the green pillow because I didn't separate the pillows. So let's play with our blend mode. Let's multiply. You know what? I really like it multiplied even at the maximum opacity. So I'm gonna go with that one. And should we do the green pillow too? Sure, why not? Let's take this nice beigey color. Now that one's small, so let's do a big, big, big flower. Something big and fun over here. Oops, you know what I forgot? This layer is already on multiply, but the reason is because the two pillows are together. So let me go back to my selection. I clicked on the pillows and I'm gonna add another layer above it, this time because I want to do a different blend on this big green pillow. I don't want to use multiply. Oops. I didn't want to use multiply on the big green pillow. Let me try this all over again. There we go. I'm going to take some of it off of the lighter pillow, which, by the way, I don't normally combine the pillows or combine the layers like that. Okay, so loving this big flower pattern, just love it. But it is very, very bright, so I think I'm gonna try different blend modes. It's a screen. I lower. I like that. A little more opacity. Okay, so for this one, I chose screen as the blend mode, and I really like it. And lastly, let's do a really cute pattern over here on the picture. All I did to make this picture was I have like a brown rectangle, as you can see. and then above it, a lighter one for the mat, and then above that, that's where my picture is going to go. So since this is where my picture is going to go, I'll hit that plus sign, and I'll do a clipping mask above that. And let's do something a little whimsical this time. Grab that green color. And how about Zen Garden? I really love Zen Garden. So, oh, how cute is that? So super fun. I hope you enjoy your collection. I had a lot of fun with you. Thank you so much.